What's up, YouTube? Bagpiper. No pipe right now. No pipe right now. I just finished one. I was smoking the traveling cob, and I had hobbit's weed in it. I wanted to do another video about the science versus religion. Except that this time I don't want to do verses. I kind of want to explain a little bit about how I feel about it. You know, I explained that I didn't feel like the earth was millions of years old, and but there's also a question of time. How long was the 6 days really, etc., etc. But I wanted to kind of say, you know, science and religion, which religion is a broad term anyways, right? Like, religion encompasses, the term religion is an umbrella that encompasses all beliefs that, other than, I guess, atheists, and even that, I think atheist is the belief of not having a belief, the form of not having a belief. So I don't know that would be in there. Anyways, I digress. So I think religion is too broad of a term. I feel like probably the biggest thing would be like Christianity versus religion. Anytime, as you know, we were evolving from the Stone Age, and there was an advancement, an idea, a hypothesis, you know, the earth is round, whatever. There was always a religion, and it was always, I don't want to say it was always, but the majority of it was the Catholic Church that said, no, that's wrong. So I don't think it's religion as much as it is Christianity. And I'm not saying it was all Catholicism. I'm just saying when you say religion, it's a very broad spectrum, just like science is a very broad spectrum. There's so many different things involved in it. So just to kind to assume, and I hate to assume because you know what they say about assuming, but just to, for me, I'm going to go ahead and say religion means Christianity, and science is the science of understanding things. You know, why are they always opposing? Uncle Butter said something about the whole them being in control. And I agree with him because I knew what he was talking about. But I think he did another video clarifying what he meant, which brought up an interesting point. And a point I wanted to make was, man is infallible, which means that we screw up. We make mistakes. And we have humanistic traits. And part of that is to be right. And I'm not saying... And when, you know, he says the whole control thing, it's not necessarily religion's trying to control you or science is trying to control you as much as the man who is claiming to be religious or scientific is trying to control you. You know, as far as religion goes and as far as the Bible goes, love thy neighbor, turn the other cheek. It's not... It's not a controlling thing. It's not supposed to be a controlling thing. But man uses fear tactics covered in the guise of religion or science to control and manipulate you into, what they want. These people are coming to take away our rights and our freedoms and make us believe a different way than we believe. And we can't let that happen. War breaks out. Or even on the flip side, the Gentiles are wrong. And if they don't believe it, we're going to spread our word no matter what it takes. And chase after the Holy Grail and all that. And the Crusades. I mean, how much blood has been spread in the name of religion? It's not religion, it's man. So, man is wrong. Man is fallible. That's what I was trying to say, and I'm pretty sure that's what Uncle Butter was trying to say. I don't mean that to be like a rant and stuff, but just so we're clarifying where we were at and where I was at in the other videos. I think they're both wrong. They're both right, but they're both wrong. They are both trying to control, but it's not the thing, it's the person. Which brings me to my next point. We talk about how they're at each other and they oppose each other, and I feel like we need to also mention how they work together, just to understand the relationship between religion and science as a whole. If we're going to talk about it, we need to talk about both sides. And so because of that, I'm going to take the stance of the Southern Baptist, which is how I was raised, which is how I learned stuff. That's the side I'm going to take for this. Although I'm not proclaiming to be a Southern Baptist Christian. I'm just using that as a guideline. Everyone's all there's things in the Bible and it just cannot be. There's no way they could possibly do the things they say and blah blah blah. And think about it. In Genesis, it says that when God created the heavens and the earth, He created a divide between the waters, and above the waters was heaven, and then below some of the waters was more water, which was the earth. Which tells us that there was a layer of water over the atmosphere, and it was the 8th layer. We know there's 7 layers because of science. And if we use that idea that there was an 8th layer and it was water, and how that would affect the atmosphere, we can understand and even prove that things were able to happen. Dinosaurs could not have lived at the same time as man because their lung capacity and blah 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 in the atmosphere. But with that 8th layer, breathing was so much easier. It was possible. It says in the Bible that man walked everywhere they went. How is that possible? How are they able to walk from one side to the other? Look at all the bodies of water. If you think about it, though, before the flood, and it says in the Bible before the flood that, there wasn't as much water on the earth. And if you look at a map, if you were able to pull the water away, you see more land that's covered by water. So it is in fact possible that they could have walked. And just, instead of it being an ocean, it would have been a river. Or, whatever. So, it's totally possible. It's a total plausible reality. How were dinosaurs able to live? Why are there no more? What makes you think there's not? Just because Noah took 2 of each animal onto the ark doesn't mean that he took all full-grown adult animals. It is ridiculous to believe that he was able to fit that many animals fully grown on the ark, why wouldn't he have taken small animals? Why wouldn't he have taken baby animals? It makes sense. You have to think about it logically, right? And we know that reptiles, alligators and such, evolved from dinosaurs. So why couldn't that have been the case? It mentions in the Bible fire-breathing serpents and dragons and stuff, dinosaurs. There is a mention, and I can't remember where it's at, and I'll have to look it up for sure. But there is a mention somewhere down South America of these lizards that live in these like caves and holes and stuff that shoot little bits of fire. It's the acid or whatever in them that burns, which goes right along with stuff that is said in the Bible. It's science. Once the earth was flooded, that water had to go somewhere. A lot of it evaporated off and left, but a lot of it stayed in the oceans, and it created bigger gaps between land masses. It also changed the way that everything living on the planet worked. There was no longer that 8th layer of water to help aid in lung capacity, so we couldn't walk as far, and we couldn't breathe as good, and therefore the larger animals like the dinosaurs died off, and the ones that live had to evolve and adapt to stay with at the times to survive. That's science. We evolve and adapt every day. Things change, we learn to accept it. Technology is a perfect example of that. How often do we get updates on our phones and have to learn all the new shit on our phones? We're evolving. You don't see it as evolving, but that's what it is. My point is that you can't just assume that the Bible is just a bunch of rambling mythical bullshit and science disproves everything about it, because it doesn't. Science helps aid the Bible, which is what we're supposed to be using science for. All the things that we can't understand, and like I said before, they each complement each other and fill in the voids from each other. And so I guess my point to this whole thing is don't be so quick to assume that one is more right than the other, and that we can have one without the other. They work together. They prove each other. I'm not saying that religion is right. There are a lot of people in religion that are very wrong. There's a lot of people in science who are very wrong too. And how many retractions have been made? How many advancements? Newton's laws have already been found that not all of them are actually accurate and are being changed and adapted to. Man is fallible. We make mistakes. It happens. We have to be willing to accept that fact and, not be so quick to judge and make assumptions about stuff. How do you know that miracles don't happen? How do you know that those miracles what one person calls miracles, another person could call magic, or another person could call science? I just don't. When the term coexist gets thrown out, I don't think it means like put all of the religious symbols together to spell out the word coexist. I just think it means that, you know, we should be more, not be so abrasive and so I'm right and you're wrong, and be more understanding and open to the fact that you know, there's things out there that we don't know and that we don't understand, and that's fine. That's okay. It's perfectly okay. And that's all I've got for today, guys. I gotta unload the car of all the stuff that was in my truck, and go about seeing where I go from here on that. So that's it. I hope y'all stuck around. I hope that kind of makes sense. I hope I wasn't ranting too much or rambling. That's it. So until next time, keep them full lit and rolling. Bagpiper out.